back once again, friends. What if one day everything ends on this earth, but only you remain alive, and even then only in a place where, with temperatures below -40 degrees, what would you do? The story begins. Since 2069, during this period, we observe a man named Austin sitting in a research center eating, except for his computer. No one else is with him except for some devices. Actually, a few months ago, a poisonous gas accidentally spread on Earth. It was so terrible that the entire world came under its control. Gradually, over time, it also began to affect the human species. They began diminishing one by one. The few poor were transformed into graveyards. Cities like America, concerned for their people, prepare a special sim plane for the last children and announce they are embarking on a search for a new home, and until then, they have to stay inside this plane. But there was one person who did not want to leave. He is the protagonist of our story today. He battles cancer on Earth and will die there, choosing not to flee unlike others. He had immense wealth. If he wanted, he could have booked an entire plane for himself. But today, he alone lives his desolate life. He is treating himself with his own hands, cooking for himself, and even eating with his own hands. This is how every day of his life goes. Wake up each morning, eat regularly throughout the day, learn about global conditions, then at night, watch dark clouds and go to sleep. But today I want to tell you that Agast was never like this. He had that passion that every young man has inside. To do something so that he could do something for himself and his country. Agast was also one of them when he was in his youth. He stays away from all the hobbies of life and remains lost in the world of books. Because he somehow knew the way our lives are passing in today's times. Those days aren't far when we might leave our homes. Look, today that day has arrived. Everyone departed, only he remained upon discovering this new home, a new planet. So he organized a big event to talk about it, in which he explained to everyone in great detail why it has now become necessary for us to leave this earth. How little by little the air here will become polluted for us. Along with that, Agast tried to explain every aspect of that planet to everyone easily. As a result, everyone understood, and everyone praised his efforts and discovery greatly. But the one who was most affected was Jean. It wasn't his work, but his ability to explain and his appearance that affected her. When Agast first appeared to her, she fell in love instantly. With time, they continued to grow closer here, and then one day came when they got married, and 3 years later, their family also began to live happily. In recent years, Jean never felt close to him as he stayed absorbed in work and books, prompting his sister-in-law to resent his behavior. And that's why he decided to leave her, because now their family would grow, and she doesn't want their future children to have to endure all this. And even today, no one bothers him about this statement in August. Because he really didn't care about anyone, he was just thinking about his future. But today, now that everything has ended, he truly feels loneliness hollowing him from within alongside this pathetic illness disappearing. It is gradually ruining him each day, leading him to drink alcohol and causing his mental stability to falter. Meanwhile, he receives a message that has come from planet K2. Yes, that very planet which Agast has colonized and has sent some of his company's people there. Headed by Dr. Sully, whose work has become incomplete, and this is the message he is now trying to send to the people on Earth. But they are unable to contact anyone. How could they? Because Darty has completely emptied, but they are not aware of this yet. When Agast received the message, he couldn't identify its sender or meaning. His health deteriorated so much that he no longer remembers his past. Still, he made a great effort, and only then did he realize that these were his own senders who were searching for life on Ketu. He had checked whether it was there, but now he must prevent its arrival as nothing remains at this place. However, he can contact her only after 6 or 7 hours. Because he doesn't have such a large antenna to quickly establish contact, everything has gone bad. Dr. Sully is also advising all the people present in her craft. His contact has been established, but he remains unsure whether the message has reached them. In the meantime, we explore the two-planet scenario where everything is available. So that humanity can be reborn again, and for it to be reborn, there must be some humans. I wonder what happened to those people. We don't know if those who left here are still alive or not, and until the message arrives, he goes out to get something to eat. But then a fire broke out in the kitchen, which made him very anxious, but in time, he managed to control the fire. Or he encountered something here that he had never imagined in this place. Actually, it was a little girl, yes, in this blood-freezing cold, this girl was doing something amidst all this. Where she came from, this question kept coming to his mind repeatedly, so he finally asked her what her name was and where she had come from, but she didn't give any answer. Thinking that maybe she was scared, he decided to give her some time so she could relax a bit. Meanwhile, he remembered that it was time to send the message back, but when he sat in front of the device, he realized that, man, I don't even have a signal. He suspected his antenna was faulty for sending long-distance messages, so he went upstairs to adjust its position. He came back downstairs, tried again without a response, and realized that nothing would work from here. He has to go to a place where he can get a good signal. Meanwhile, he remembers the girl and goes to her, who was making a drawing. After seeing that, he realized she can't speak or hear. So, he named her Irish, just like himself. This was the name he had thought of for his future daughter. He never got to meet any in the fields. But this Irish, he met, who perhaps brought a new life for him. Now he starts looking for some places where he can get a good signal. During this time, he finds a place. But the biggest problem was that he couldn't leave Irish. Because this journey is extremely long, who knows when he will return, and he can't take her along because it's very cold outside. In this dilemma, he was overwhelmed as preparations were also underway all night, which Irish was also assisting with. Then a good bond starts forming between the two, so at the last moment, he decided to take her with him because if they stay together, his courage would increase. After packing equipment, they rode the motorcycle the next day. Friends, the story is about to turn. Anything that comes your way will only frustrate you more, so keep watching and enjoying. Everywhere you look, there's snow, and it's so cold it could freeze blood. But still, August is running out of time. When night falls, both of them stop in one place because the cold has intensified, but during that time, a mishap occurs where they had set up their camp, and the snow there starts to melt. As a result, both of them fall into the water. However, in time, August manages to pull both himself and Irish out. But now they have nothing left, meaning they have used up everything they needed. All that's left are their clothes, meaning they must continue their journey on foot from now on, which is quite tough for August. Because his health was starting to deteriorate, old August kept getting exhausted repeatedly. Meanwhile, Irish starts resting, and seeing this Irish explains to him, "If you keep stopping repeatedly like this, our journey will become longer, while continuous movement shortens the distance." These words encourage him, so he stands up again and starts walking. 2 days have passed, but their destination is still quite far from them. As a result, August has almost no life left in his body. It became even more dreadful when suddenly a snowstorm arrived there. Snow swirls rapidly around Irish's hand. He left Agus, causing him distress, and began anxiously searching, evident from his restless facial expression. What impact has Irish had on his life? After some time, she was finally found, and then the two reached their destination where they first ate something. After Agus attempted and finally succeeded in contacting, he was able to speak with Dr. Sully. However, before explaining Prithvi's conditions, at that moment, some stones started hitting their craft, causing their connection to break again. Agus was troubled once more here. Perhaps he'll come this way, but in reality, chaos reigns on the craft. Due to the collision, they've lost their way and face another problem. However, Dr. Sully now goes outside on her own to try to repair the damaged components, so they can quickly re-establish the connection, but going outside is not without danger because where they have stopped, stones are continuously floating in the atmosphere. Nevertheless, they remain dedicated to their work and manage to fix the broken wires on time after returning to their cockpit. A stone strikes the other companion, severely injuring him. She brings him inside in time, and as they removed his helmet, his timely passing plunged the entire craft into mourning, as he was the most sociable person. Beej Suli, who lost his own life, contacts August again, and this time, without wasting any time, August told him everything. Those people should not come to Earth because it is no longer the Earth they had imagined. Everything has been destroyed. A poisonous gas has spread, causing as many people were killed. Only a selected few are alive who their government will eventually take away, but now they have no idea, so you all go back to K2 and start a new world there because life exists there. That's what you all told me. Then Suli asks, so what are you doing there alone? He answered that his destiny is to be alone, which he has accepted, but these people have lost their way, so August shows them the right path and says, always don't be tempted to save K2 from bad people, or else their situation will become like Earth. When they find the right location, these people hesitate a lot. But they have a companion who doesn't want to go to K2. He says he will go to Preeti because his wife and children are waiting there. They had promised him, but August said no one was here and not to come. He stubbornly refused, causing the others to give up. They told him, if you want, go. We're returning to K2. Using an extra cube, they sent him to Earth. These people did their craft. She placed it toward the location direction. Meanwhile, August and Suli discuss, with her telling him he has been her role model since childhood. Because she became an astronaut due to her qualifications, and later her company gave her the opportunity to witness the beauty of this romance. Therefore, she wants to thank them. Her mother-in-law, Mrs. Jeans, greatly influenced her. Listening to August talk about her made him feel his life had come to a halt. Mr. Jeans reminded her of something, and she started taking deep breaths, but she couldn't speak because everything was being conveyed through her eyes. When he asked her what her full name was, she revealed it was Dr. Sully Irish. Hearing that, it felt like the purpose of his life was fulfilled. A minute later, he wondered who that girl was. He rushed outside but found no one. Friends, she was just a creation of August's imagination so that he could live a few more days with this excuse, so that his real daughter wouldn't lose her life. If he had died earlier from his illness, perhaps he would have wandered this entire life and ultimately died. But August's mind saved his life today. He gave his daughter and many others a new life, but Irish will never discover that the last person he spoke to in that world is actually his father. Now there were miles between them, but fate kept bringing them back together repeatedly. This is what destiny is called. No one knows what will happen when, where, and how to meet us. The story ends. If you enjoyed it, comment below. Thanks for watching. See you next video.